Thank you for joining. Thank you for sharing the music with us without knowing what I'm working for. Is it for the finger? Is it for the hand? First point, I said culture of classical music, knowledge of music, classical music. Hello everyone. Welcome to the 5th episode of our 10 live stream series. In this episode, the title is Chopin and Liszt as announced before in my YouTube channel. First of all, I want to talk about the previous live stream. I want to avoid some kind of misunderstanding. That's the reason why I want to talk about the previous live stream. In the previous live stream, I've said that and put it as a title that it is jazz, a live stream based on jazz, and I've said that I will make jazz improvisations. I said that I will do jazz improvisations. But actually, in the end, what came as a result was that I did improvisations on the 5 famous jazz pieces, and rather than doing jazz that I don't have much knowledge about, I did free improvisation on the jazz pieces. So actually it would be wrong for me to say that I made jazz improvisations, but rather I actually did improvisations on the jazz pieces, because jazz improvisations have so much different structure and demand so much more knowledge from the player about jazz than just normal improvising. And that's something I noticed after, and I hope now the misunderstandings are not there. So I hope I solved these misunderstandings. So if we go to today's topic, today I'm still near the piano, but I'm not gonna play. Today I will just try to inform you guys share my knowledge about 2 great composers. Let me tell you about my structure that I planned for today's live stream. So I also have a board here. Maybe I will use it. Let's try to use it. So first section, I will talk about Chopin and Liszt's educational background. Their educational backgrounds. Second topic will be, second section will be their approach to piano technique. So let's say their approach in general, individually, like Liszt's approach and then Chopin's approach, or the order inverse, haven't decided. Can be flexible. Third and the last section will be comparison. As I've written down here. Let's see how it looks. I'm actually sorry if it's inversed in the screen. I don't know how exactly you see, but when I look at my own screen, I see it inversed, the writings. If it's inversed, sorry about that. I haven't used this board, board writing in my past live stream, so I don't know how it goes. Yeah, anyways, inverse or in the right direction, this is not the important part. So let's start with the first section, educational backgrounds of both Chopin and Liszt. I will start with Liszt. So first of all, both Chopin and Liszt were born in quite really close times, like with 1 year difference. Chopin was born in 1810 and Liszt was born in 1811. That's why it's also really interesting to take those two composers to compare. They're both from the Romantic period and they have lives that crossed each other's lives a lot. Their lives crossed together and they were good friends for a long time. And um, and I want also to tell you that in this live stream, um, what I'm doing is I'm trying to share the knowledge I have with you, share the knowledge I've gained myself, I know myself, and there might be little, I mean, there could be more details of what I'm telling, but if there is missing parts, please forgive me for that because I will generally do an overview. I will try to do an overview rather than I'm not gonna tell you that I will tell everything in detail specifically because I haven't reached that much knowledge also myself yet, and it's not easy to know everything of a life of a composer. Um, Even though if you have many years of involvement with music. But I will try to go as detailed as I can. I will try to go as detailed as I can. So let's start with Liszt. Liszt, Liszt educational background. Liszt, Franz Liszt, the great composer and pianist Franz Liszt, was born in 1811, and he has his father Adam Liszt, who wanted also to be a pianist, but things didn't work out, and because of this frustration he got from an unsuccessful career plan, a professional musician career plan, he used this ambition actually to make his child a piano prodigy. He used this ambition actually pushed him to make his child a piano prodigy. He wanted Liszt to be the second Mozart, and he was the power behind arranging all these concerts, all these recitals for Liszt, and he was actually the first teacher of Liszt who gave Liszt piano lessons. He taught him about Mozart and Hummel and the composers at the time that were necessary to teach. He tried to teach his son as well as he can, but there was a time where he said, "Okay, this is not enough. The education I can give to him is already he already understood what I can give." So he, with his son Franz Liszt, they went to Czerny, another great famous composer, and for him to teach Liszt. Czerny in the beginning was not so optimistic about this, but till the time he heard Liszt, he was not so optimistic. From the time he heard Liszt play, the little Liszt play, at the age of 11, he was actually already convinced to give this young prodigy lessons. And yeah, Liszt had 18 months of lessons with Czerny, where he mastered the finger equalization school, which I will also come to it after in the next sections. Because Czerny was known to be the father of the finger equalization school. Czerny was known to be the father of finger equalization school, and Liszt having lessons from Czerny also made Liszt a part of the cycle. Great composers giving lessons to next generation of great composers, like first starting from Haydn to Beethoven to Czerny, and Czerny giving lessons to Liszt. So it's actually fascinating just to see how all those great composers interacted and passed through the traditions they had via the next generation child prodigies and prodigies, so on. It's quite fascinating to think about it. So, finger equalization school, yeah, and yeah, 18 months of sessions with Czerny, Liszt had, and these 18 months of studying with Czerny, known for all his technical capabilities and the etudes he wrote, Carl Czerny. He already it was already good base for his Liszt education for the transcendental technique. He was actually doing the first steps to his transcendental technique, his technique, Franz Liszt technique, known as the transcendental technique later on. And Liszt was a really talented young boy, and he could improvise at the age of 5. He could improvise at the age of 5, and at the age of 9 he gave his first concert, and this concert, this recital, was a huge success that all the audience were really impressed by Liszt, the young Liszt. And then already thanks to his great playing at such a young age, he was already quite famous, and by Diabelli, you know, the story that Diabelli asked 50 most distinguished musicians to write one variation, and which consisted Beethoven, Haydn, and Czerny, and yeah, if I'm not misremembering something, and next to Schubert, Hummel, Czerny, Beethoven, yes. I don't know if Haydn was there, but this, when we see all those great composers there, to see Liszt aged only 11 among them is actually quite fascinating for such a young age. You know, he was a part of this, and he was asked to compose also for a variation. Yeah. So already great success, great educational background. Technical wise, he had such a strong educational background. Liszt. Czerny, the father of finger equalization technique, was the teacher of Liszt, and he had heavy sessions of 18 months of training with Liszt, technical training, and Czerny would give Liszt endurance exercises for hours on end to master Liszt, for Liszt to master the piano technique at its limits, you know, trying for the limits of the piano technique. So, am I missing anything? Let's see. Yeah, so I don't think so. Let's come to Chopin. Chopin's educational background. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your support, guys. Chopin's educational background. Chopin, born in 1810, just 1 year before Liszt. Franz Liszt, the great composer. Chopin also had musician parents, and like the great composer Franz Liszt, he started the piano with one of his parents, with his mother. Actually, this information is not so certain if he actually started exactly with his mother, but yeah, there is rumors that he started to play with his mother, and from the age 6 he had already a piano teacher, and who was a Czech pianist. From age of 7 he started giving concerts, and many concerts, many recitals, and at the age of 13 to 16, he had organ lessons, and then 3 years at the Warsaw Conservatory, which he he learned about music theory and composition. These are all important. Why I chose to talk about their educational backgrounds first is basically because then you can see the development, then you can see how their you can relate more how their philosophy is developed afterwards towards piano technique, approach towards piano technique and towards piano playing, by extension, you know. So yeah, if we talk more about Chopin, he had always such appreciation for opera and human voice. He was always interested, and also the fact that he had organ lessons also made uh, such differences from the in his later on in his life from the other composers and other pianists, because he got some skills that all the piano players, all the pianists didn't actually were not actually aware of. For example, when all those pianists at the time in Paris, in this pianist fame competition, you know, everyone giving recitals and so on, all those famous pianists trying to competing against each other. They were all the rumors that they were all playing in a way that they were trusting the sustaining pedal, the right pedal, and their hands were not on the keyboard because they trusted that the sound will still go on and so on. But Chopin believed in actual legato, and he he tried his best to keep his hands on the keys. He keep his fingers on the keys rather than uh, yeah, trusting the pedal and not doing the work by the hand, which has to be done. So yeah, Chopin, because you can see I already explained Chopin's educational background. He didn't have such education from such a piano teacher as Liszt, like from someone like Czerny, a great pianist like Czerny. So this made also him have being belonging to no piano school. Actually, he didn't belong actually to any piano school, and he discovered many things on piano by himself. He discovered many things on piano by himself. Yeah, I have to see one thing. He discovered many things on piano by himself. Yeah. So I think it's enough already talking about their educational backgrounds. We can see that Liszt has a strong technical educational background from Czerny, and he has a certain school. He is continuing a certain tradition. Whereas Chopin, he had organ lessons. He had already a lot of concerts from little age, from the age of 7, recitals, concerts, and he was also called. He had also not a nickname, but I don't know. Yeah, he was also being called something related with Mozart, and yeah, he had also quite good reputation from early age, and he could also improvise quite. I don't know if quite well, but he could improvise. That's the knowledge I know. So both composers can improvise, both young talents, both young prodigies, but the way they evolve is in the educational way is actually quite differing, we could say. Second section, their approach on piano technique, on piano playing in general, their philosophies, and I will try to be as clear as possible. I don't know, so forgive me if I'm stopping too much, because it's actually sometimes difficult to keep exactly from going from where I've stopped. Their approach to piano technique and piano philosophy, piano playing, their philosophies, shortly. So let's start now from Chopin. Chopin was actually quite different from all the pianists at his time. This is shown from the fact that Heinrich Heine, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but Heinrich Heine, whatever, the famous critic at the time, famous harsh critic, feared critic at the time, who was criticizing Liszt, Thalberg, all these Dreischock, all these famous pianists at the time in Paris, giving recitals. All these famous pianists that had the fame in Paris were getting criticized harshly by Heinrich Heine because of this, because of their, if I could say, playing that with a lot of sound, with a lot of not deep intentions, and maybe we could say show playing and all those. So he was criticizing all of them harshly. Loud playing, fast playing. He was criticizing all those virtuosos because of their virtuosic playing, and because he didn't actually find something deep on all those playings. But Chopin was an exception for this. Frederic Chopin was an exception, and Heinrich Heine actually he actually didn't criticize Chopin badly, and he called Chopin the Raphael of the piano, the famous painter Raphael of the piano, because of such colors he produced from the piano, such atmosphere, such color would be the right word, if atmosphere, uncertain, but even with the little sound tone he produced, like the tone of that sound would be always singing, always like painting and beautifully, like human voice, like what he was interested of, human voice, operas. So Chopin was a self-taught pianist. As I told you, he belonged to no school. He of course had many piano classes, organ classes, so on, but as a tradition he was a self-taught pianist. When Liszt was spending hours on the piano, Chopin encouraged stretching and resting, and he thought that practicing many hours on end at piano could be damaging in certain ways, and it's better to spend some amount of time, like 2-3 hours, and rest of it learn about art and relax your muscles and stretch and so on. So Chopin, thought sound production should come first and technique second. That was his approach, and this we can see already from his life. I mean, his nocturnes, I consider his nocturnes as also a way to understand Chopin, because if you look at his nocturnes, you can already understand it. If you actually could play his nocturnes in the way he wants, it already opens a new world to understand so much easier what Chopin actually wants from the player, what Chopin he wanted to play like. His approach, you can understand. One thing that we talked about, I referred in the beginning, if you remember, was the finger equalization school that Liszt and Czerny. That Czerny was the father of this school, and like really known for this school, and Liszt as well because he was the student of Czerny. Chopin actually actually differentiating from them, differing from them, Chopin favored the finger individualization school. Individualization school, yes, I think you should be right. Chopin favored the finger individualization school. Sorry for my pronunciation. It's actually hard for me to say it. And what is the difference? What is the difference between these two way of approach to piano technique? Is basically it makes a lot of difference. Finger equalization school followers, consisting Schumann, believed that each finger should have the same strength, and each finger should be treated to have similar strength and power and so on. And they and this actually made a confusion in them, because they never actually exactly knew how to answer the question of third and fourth finger, the two fingers that are attached to each other. They wanted every finger to be as strong and powerful independently, but third and fourth finger was creating a struggle for the finger equalization school followers. Where Schumann actually was the victim of this school, because he created a device that made each finger work separately, individually, independently from the other ones. And with this device, because of the attachment with third and fourth finger, he actually what Chopin calls as a Siamese twins. He actually paralyzed his right hand, and he had to abandon his piano career for the rest of his life. Yeah, this is actually quite a story. Chopin, he took a different approach, and he said, why working against nature rather than working with nature? So he worked with nature, and he considered all the abilities, all the characteristics of each finger separately, and not expecting such thing that third and fourth finger would not be capable of. Instead, accepting their Siamese twins, they're attached to each other, and making the best out of it in a natural way. So, for Chopin, thumb is the finger that has the most power, broadest, shortest, and the freest finger. Third finger is the middle, so the pivot of the hand. Middle finger, so the pivot of the hand, which was also considered by Chopin a great singer. Fourth finger, the weakest conjoined twin of the third. The weakest. And fifth finger, the other extreme of the thumb. Yeah. So already from here, we can understand he took a complete different approach. He identified all these characteristics of all those fingers, and he worked with nature. He actually went quite against the school at the time, and he was quite revolutionary for this. This is already a completely different approach. Whereas Liszt followed the finger equalization school. If we come to Liszt's approach on piano technique and piano playing, he followed the finger equalization school, and Liszt, I'm gonna talk about the important event for Liszt, Franz Liszt, the great pianist and composer's development as a musician. He was already a great pianist, virtuosic, son, inhumane technical capabilities. But at the time, 1831, Franz Liszt went to listen to Paganini, the great violinist. And he was so impressed by this performance that after, he decided to have not only the aim to play the piano better than all the other pianists. He said, I should play the piano as well as how much it can be played. So he would become the Paganini of the piano. Paganini influenced him a lot. From this time, at the age of 20, Liszt started practicing for crazy amounts of time, like 14-15 hours a day, doing 4 to 5 hours of technical exercises like thirds, sixths, eighths, tenths, like then leaving the other 10 hours to studying Mozart, Bach, Beethoven, Haydn, Hummel, all the composers that exist on that time. He was saying that he was meditating on the piano, his fingers were meditating on the piano. And yeah, he started a high intensive practicing schedule at the age of 20. And this also actually contributed a lot to his transcendental technique. And then he composed Paganini etudes, his transcendental etudes, and yeah, this made him develop so much as an artist this period of his life. And also from then he got influence from Paganini's violin playing, and he adapted Paganini's playing of violin to piano. When he was composing his own pieces, he adapted certain figures, certain playing ways. For example, he developed his Liszt octaves. We know Liszt for his Liszt octaves, which are double chromatic octaves, playing the melodies and so on. And Liszt used a lot the double escapement system. The advantage that the double escapement system was invented by Sebastian Erard. When Liszt, we talked about it. I don't know if I already referred to it, but after Liszt finished his studies with Czerny, after 18 months, Liszt went to Paris and studied in the Paris Conservatory. And there he met the famous piano manufacturer Sebastian Erard, who developed the double escapement, the piano that has a double escapement system, which is, let me explain. Before the development of the double escapement system, when we would press a key, for that key to sound again when we press, it had to go completely all the way up again. We could not just press and it would sound if the key would be halfway of the way to go up completely. And with double escapement system, this became possible. Repeated notes, playing the same note repeatedly, and these notes sounding became possible. This made actually a big revolution in composing for classical musicians at the time, for all those pianists at the time, composers at the time, pianists at the time. This made a great revolution, and Liszt used this invention a lot in his compositions, whereas Chopin didn't so much. So yeah, Liszt, I think we made both of those composers' approach to piano technique shortly clear. Now let's do a little comparison and let's finish this episode of the series. Comparison. Let me put those notes aside. Comparison. If you do a little comparison, as we've seen, two different schools, two different traditions, Chopin develops it by himself, the finger equalization school. He identifies, he is aware of the fact that each finger has a different characteristic and different ability, and he identifies them and he focuses them on them to produce the best way of playing. And Chopin was always focused on singing and playing. That's why his nocturnes, I said, could be considered like his etudes, maybe, to because to understand Chopin, I think nocturnes are really necessary. Uh, it's like the studies to understand Chopin. That's my own opinion. I don't know what you would think about it. Singing, singing, and singing. He always cared about sound production. He always cared about colors. He first wanted to produce, and then his technique would come second. And his father has a quote even that when all those other pianists spend hours on end on piano doing technical exercises and so on, Chopin didn't even spend an hour, I mean nearly an hour on the piano. And yeah, that's quite interesting fact. I will answer the comments after I finish the last point. So yeah, quite different schools. Liszt, known for his inhumane technical capabilities, Liszt could improvise extremely well. Even though these two composers contradict a lot with each other's philosophies, it's actually two different directions. Even though at the time they were on their 20s, when they were meeting in Paris, they were having meetings in Paris. Liszt was playing Chopin pieces because Chopin was finding actually Liszt to play those pieces, was finding it nicer than if he would play those pieces. He always wanted Liszt to play his own pieces when they were meeting on that time. Yeah, so Chopin more focused on singing, all those, and technique comes behind in a way. At the same time, he has all his etudes, but considering the fact that finger individualization school, they were all based on finger individualization school. This word really makes me struggle, and and yeah, all his fingerings that he gave to his pieces actually all connected to his way, his philosophy on this way, his approach on this way. He would pass, he would play the black keys with his first finger, which was not allowed by the pedagogues of that time, and so on and so on. Shortly, this is Chopin, and if you when we compare it with Liszt, Liszt was more connected with traditions of classical music, but he developed in such way. It's not that, you know, Chopin was the philosophical composer. He was the one caring about colors and phrase and all those. And Liszt, not no Liszt, just in a different way. He was also known for his musical capabilities, not only technical. He spent many years in, for example, Switzerland. I mean, of his life, like just composing and mastering himself to become a better composer, a more developed composer, you know, and building his own philosophy. And he was also renowned for his musical capabilities, his building of his phrases and so on were also recognized greatly for his playing. He was recognized greatly for both virtuosic and both musical playing, you know, in all those senses. Just Chopin brought a different approach with the little tone that he used. This bel canto singing playing was capturing the audience's attention. He was differentiating a lot. But Liszt, among all those pianists at the time, he was recognized as the best of all with all his technical and musical capabilities, improvising and so on. So yes, I hope you liked. I hope I'm not missing anything. and I hope you liked this episode a lot. I try to inform you guys with what I know, share my knowledge. I hope it was an informing stream. Let's check the comments now. Let's see. Do I have any advice on Chopin Etude Opus 10 number 12, said Barishtash. And then, let's see. Oh no, do you think it will help if I practice Chinese finger texture practicing Chopin Etudes? You know, the thing is, what I believe, because now it comes to my opinion, it's not written knowledge, it's not written information. What I believe is that for a pianist nowadays, what I do for myself is I try to learn about all those techniques, and not sticking into one school, one piano school yet, because simply because I'm not at the point where I decided which school I favor, rather than I'm just in a process of learning. So if you want to do Czerny etudes, do them, but do them in the right way that would benefit you. Don't do them in a way that Chopin would want his etudes to be played, because it's Czerny. There's different school, I talked about it, finger equalization school, different strength to the finger, all those strength to the finger given should be the same, and not such Chopin playing, you know, on those etudes, because it will not contribute a lot, because it's different schools. But learn, of course, play all those etudes, play Chopin etudes, Czerny etudes, Liszt etudes. All those will help you in general for your development as a pianist in all those ways. Learn and know everything, read everything, play as many etudes as you can, and it will develop, but in the right way, of course. With the knowledge, it will be nicer. Let's see. And advice on, sorry, the first question. Advice on Chopin Etude Opus 10 number 12, not 2. Is it 12? Ah, okay. Number 12, left hand. Yeah, my right revolutionary etude. Practice left hand. Practice left hand alone, and slow using finger strength, because here you have to first master finger strength. I feel like I'm referring to the first episode that was like 1 month ago. You can also watch the first episode. I think, give a lot of information about those techniques, but not specifically on the 12th etude. But yeah, practice left hand alone, right hand alone, sing the right, sing the left, because it's Chopin, you know. And but sing, what I mean by sing is like, you can also sing by your voice, but I just mean sing while playing, you know, singing, playing slowly, and using finger power. Master the finger power and strengthen your fingers as well. Even though it's Chopin, that's what I do for myself. So, finger, like, strengthening your fingering is never bad. Fingers is never bad. And then, yeah, try to be relaxed while playing. That's really important. Never tension on your shoulders, arm. This is really damaging, actually, for your piano playing. So try to avoid that. Really try to pay attention to that. Relaxed, slow. Then try to keep the tempo higher and higher after that. Let's see. I hope it will help. Will you be going live with John anytime soon? Actually, you know, I wanted to, but I'm not sure. He has now a quite busy schedule, you know. So I'm not sure if we will be able to go live again. But if things go well and there's free time for it, and both are available for it, why not? We will see. But I don't know anytime soon. I don't think anytime soon. Any tips on practicing Chopin Etude Opus 10 number 1? Great video, by the way. Thank you, Can Sakaoğlu. Thank you. Teşekkürler. So, I will tell it in English, even though I could in Turkish. First etude was an etude that I played when I was actually quite little. So when I was playing it, I struggled the most. I'm not saying it because it's an easy etude. No, not at all. Actually, it was considered one of the hardest by many pianists. But actually, there was a quote of Chopin on it that if you free your wrist, if you play from your wrist completely flexible, completely free, this etude is actually not that hard. Even though, many pianists who are actually questioning, like, what is this? Because we have to play do and mi. This interval is like 10th. If we don't have a big hand, like, we have to play the 10th and then do, sol, do, mi, do, sol, do, mi, do, And Chopin was like, no, because we know the Chopin hands were actually small. And how he could play this etude so easily was because of the fact that his wrists were really flexible. His arm was relaxed, of course, his whole body, but his wrist was really, really flexible. So rather than the fingers, it's actually the wrist. And when I was playing this piece, when I was like around 13, I was preparing for a competition with this piece. And it took me a long time, actually, because it took me like a year to actually understand. Also, due to that young age, I didn't have much knowledge back then about it. After practicing slowly for a long time, I've actually realized it's actually the wrist. It's actually the relaxation. Your hands should get used to the position, but it should be all connected by the wrist. I think it's an etude that once you get the idea, I think you can play it with a bit of practice anytime. Maybe I can show. I haven't practiced it for long, but I can try to show if I can still play it. I think I will be able to, but let's see how it goes. I wasn't gonna play in this live stream, but why not? Let's put this here. Okay. Maybe I should not go till the end. I don't know what will happen, but yeah, as you can see, it's based on the flexibility of the wrist, as what Chopin said. Based on the flexibility of the wrist, and yeah, I hope it helped. I hope I could give some help. It's not about finger activization. I think this etude, and it would be wrong to say that. Just complete relaxation. Chopin actually advised to his students to practice this etude really slowly in the morning, because the hand would be also in the morning because hand would be more relaxed. That's what he said. That's his opinion. And yeah, I hope it helps. Identify also the harmonies one by one, like play the chords like I hope it helped. Any recommendation for beginners? Okay. actually never thought of that. Um, of course, man. Of course. I hope it helped, John. So, any recommendation for beginners? I could say listen. Something that I haven't done when I was little and I regret it. First, listen actually a lot of music. Listen to a lot of music. You can not play with two hands, okay? Yet. Let's see. Yeah. I mean, start from the basics. Don't just start from such high level pieces, you know. Don't, you can try to read them, but it will be certainly impossible. Yet don't try to just fast reach some level fast, but just listen to a lot of music. Start with beginner pieces that you know, that could be like beginner pieces, you know. There's many beginner exercises. You can start also with etudes, you know, Czerny etudes. Why not, actually? Like, even though in the beginning it will not be sounding well at all, if you can read notes, you can start with yeah. And listen to a lot of music, listen to a lot of performers, listen to a lot of orchestral music. Yeah, try basic songs or classical etudes, easy etudes, like Chinese easy etudes, or, you know. Yeah, but I would suggest you to start with classical music. I wouldn't suggest you to start with the, any kind of song. If it's helpful for you, you think you can. But I'm a classical pianist, so that's what I support for. Yeah, let's see the comments. Yeah, I hope it helped. Also, do you have any tips and advice on scrubbing etude opus 8 number 12? This is a etude that I played recently. Let me think about it. Opus 8 number 12. Both ends separated, I would say. Do both ends separated a lot. This is a piece that I did a lot of experiments, actually, on a point of view of sound, how to develop the phrase, sound. It's really helpful piece. Listen to scrubbing. Listen to more scrubbing. Listen to his Poem of Fire, Poem of Ecstasy, more scrubbing, sonatas. You have to understand scrubbing to a certain way to understand his compositions, like every other composer, every other great composer. Listen to more scrubbing. Practice left and right hand alone. Listen to the harmonies one by one, the development of the harmonies one by one in both hands. What else? What else could I say? For the jumps, ta-tam, ta-ta, maybe you could try landing before, like before playing. Just go fast with your hand to the next key before playing already the next key. Yeah. Yeah. Before already playing the next key, maybe land fast, and then for the jumps it can help. For the left as well, practice slowly, both hands. Think of the structure. I mean, you have also a lot of work with this kind of etude to do with thinking, you know, about the general structure, about the idea of the composition. Where is the climax? Where are the first theme, and when does the first theme come back? Even though those information seems useless at the beginning for your playing, actually these are all the extra knowledge and extra push that will push you to be a better pianist while playing that piece. You will understand things better. Things will be more clear. You know, the path you have to follow will be much clearer with all the structure knowledges, more knowledge about scrubbing, the sound he used to create, what kind of climaxes does he want in his other orchestra pieces. Like this, you can try to imagine the same sound, same color, with the harmonies he gives. And what Scriabin also equals color. You know, Scriabin is also a composer that you need to think a lot about the color of, like Chopin, because also we should not forget that Scriabin was inspired by the composer, great composer Frederic Chopin, for his early period. Yeah, so I hope it helps. Technically, I don't have much exercise for that piece to do, but yeah, I don't remember doing much technical exercises, but yeah, use body weight always, no tension, and listen to what you play. Listen to your phrases. Phrasing for that piece is really important. You can listen to the great pianists playing it, like Horowitz. Yeah, Lugansky, Kissin, all those great pianists. I hope it helped. Let me see other comments. Yeah, okay. I hope it was a nice episode for all of you. I tried to give my best, share my knowledge about these two great composers and pianists, Franz Liszt and Frederic Chopin, romantic pianists and composers, and compare them in their approach to classical music, in their approach to piano playing as well, you know, their philosophies, and answer your questions. Hope you liked it. See you in the next episode. First, I have to tell you before you leave, our next episode actually will be just after 2 days, in 1st of January. I don't know if you will be available to join, but in the 1st of January, I'm waiting for all of you guys there, 1st of January, which will be again with some unique content that maybe you will not be expecting to see. So join me on 1st of January, and thank you for your support. Thank you for being there, and see you after 2 days. I hope you enjoyed this live stream. See you for the 6th episode after 2 days. Thank you for your advices. I'm in high school. Okay. Thank you for joining. Thanks for the advice. See you in another stream. Thank you. Thank you for joining and sharing this great atmosphere, creating such a warm atmosphere for all those episodes. So I'm glad this is the you give me the power to continue, even though how busy I might be every week on those series. So tell me, comment, what do you want to see also as a content in the next live streams? We have 5 left now, so tell me what you want to see. Take care. Happy New Year from now. I wish you the best year with a lot of music, health, happiness, success, music, whatever you want, whatever you wish for. I wish all of those wishes will come true for you. And I hope 2024 will be a great year for all of us. See you guys. Thank you for your support.